Call to order the regular board meeting of the Mineola Independent School District Board of Trustees for Monday, May 17th, 2021. For the record, it is 6 p.m. And the following board members are present: Glenn Dossett, Daniel Louderman, Jay McGowan, Jill Campbell, Jackie Roddick, and I am John Abbott. The purpose of this meeting has been posted according to the requirements of Section 551 of the Texas Education Code. If you'll please stand for the pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day, and we're thankful for all the many blessings that you have so abundantly bestowed upon us. We're thankful for, most of all, we're thankful for Jesus. We're thankful for the fact that he died for our sins. He who knew no sin took the sin of the world so that we could have righteousness in your sight. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
On behalf of the entire Mineola ISD Board of Trustees and our superintendent, I want to welcome each of you to the meeting tonight. Special recognition of our outgoing board member, Mr. Mize.
Tonight we get the opportunity to honor Mr. Louderman for his service to the Mineola ISD Board of Trustees. And Daniel, we have you a nice plaque right here that we want to give you. And wish you the very best, and we thank you for your time of service to the team of 8 and helping making Mineola ISD a better place. Appreciate you very much.
Presented to Daniel Louderman in recognition of 3 years of service to the school children of Mineola ISD, 2018 to 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Oath of office for our newly elected board members. Ms. Roseberry. Mr. Ballard. It is now time to swear in our newly elected board members for a 3-year term. Ms. Roseberry will administer the oath of office to Jay McGowan and Robbie Ballard.
Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Jay McGowan, Robbie Ballard,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of
of the office of
School Board Trustee for Mineola ISD
School Board Trustee for Mineola ISD
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will to the best of my abilities
protect, preserve,
protect, preserve,
and defend the Constitution and laws
and defend the Constitution and laws
of the United States and of this state,
of the United States and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Just don't read the fine print.
Oh, okay. It also is a special evening for Mary Ann. We appreciate her being here tonight. It is her birthday. So, happy birthday and thank you. What a way to celebrate. Okay, at this time, we will organize the board. Nominations are now in order for the office of president.
Nominate John Abbott.
Second.
Oh, okay. Are there any other nominations? All those in favor? Thank you. The chair, wait a minute. Okay, are there nominations for the office of vice president?
Nominate Jay McGowan.
Second.
Are there any other nominations? All those in favor? Thank you. For the office of secretary?
I nominate Joe Kiambo.
Second.
Do you have anything to say? Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? All those in favor? Thanks. Okay. The next item on the agenda is posted executive session. At this time, I'm going to call the board into executive session according to the provisions found in section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to specifically discuss personnel issues. No final action, final decision, or final vote will be taken in executive session. An open meeting will follow the executive session where any final action deemed necessary and so posted will be taken by the board. For the record, it is 6:06 p.m. Okay? We'll be back at 7. I'm now going to declare the Board of Trustees back in open session. For the record, the time is 7:06 p.m. While in executive session, no final action, final decisions, or final votes were taken. Item H on the agenda is to discuss, consider, and take action on a memorandum of understanding with Tyler Junior College for the Mineola TJC Promise Scholarship.
Mr. President, members of the board, members of the community, administrators, guests that are here this evening, this is a historic night for Mineola ISD, and we are very excited to discuss and talk about our memorandum of understanding with Tyler Junior College. You know, in March of 2020, COVID-19 disrupted educational institutions across the country as shutdowns gripped most of the state and our country. COVID-19, though, could never shut down the marketplace of ideas and collaboration among friends. And the spirit of Mineola, Texas certainly wasn't going to be shut down. Tonight we have the opportunity to change the culture of Mineola ISD forever. This is only possible through the leadership of our Board of Trustees, our administrative team that has worked tirelessly to find options for this to become a possibility, and the real heroes, those that lived here among this community, made their fortunes here, and made a decision that in the end of their life that they would leave a legacy for our community and those students that would come behind them by leaving a portion of their fortune to help others along the way. It's through gifts like the Tom and Mary Reese Scholarship, the Mineola Meredith Foundation, the Wilson and English Trust, and other scholarships that have been given to Mineola ISD that this can become a reality for future generations. For far too long, not all have had the opportunity to earn a college degree or have the opportunity to earn a trade industry certification at a place of higher education. Tonight that changes for the students of Mineola ISD through the Mineola TJC Promise Scholarship. I guess we can really start for our students who are going to be seniors next year. So these are our current juniors and sophomores and freshmen that are finishing up the school year this year. We were thinking about ways as we got ready to announce the TJC Promise Scholarship and looking for funding opportunities, and it is my privilege to be able to share with you tonight that going forward, those students in the next school year that are seeking to take a dual credit course through Tyler Junior College and earn a C or better, that the district will be able to pay for that tuition completely as a dual credit student at Mineola ISD. And so we're very excited about that and happy for that. For our current 8th graders, there's several of them that are here tonight to receive recognition for being top 10 in their class. And for all of these younger students that are here tonight, this is going to apply for you. But we have the opportunity to offer you the Tyler Junior College Promise Scholarship. And to our friends tonight that are here from TJC, our words can't express the depth of gratitude that we have and our partnership and friendship that we've developed and we're going to continue to strengthen over the years as we established our Promise Scholarship here tonight and the future partnership that we're going to have, not to just make an impact on the kids in Mineola ISD, to make an impact on kids throughout the region of East Texas. And so thank you, each of you, for being here this evening. At this time, I would like to recognize Mr. Matthew Ramirez, who is the director of the Tyler Junior College Promise Scholarship, and turn the floor over to Matthew at this time.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Cody.
It's only for the camera, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll try to speak louder. Thank you again, Cody, for the introduction. Good evening, President and board members. My name is Matthew Ramirez. I'm the director of the TJC Promise Program and Student Success. When I first heard about the Promise Program a little over 4 years ago, as this huge partnership between several communities in East Texas and TJC, that it was going to really area, I knew it was something that I really wanted to be a part of. I'm super passionate about student success, and I like to do things that have never been done before. And so I was excited to get on board with the TJC Promise Program. Fast forward 4 years to today, I'm happy to be associated with it, and my goal is to make sure that you all will be, everybody in here will also be happy to be associated with it as well. So 3 years ago, I've been able to really poll about 3,000 students in East Texas, and all ninth graders, and one question that I've asked them was, do you want to go to college? And even to my surprise, almost every one of them said yes. I think there's 15 out of 3,000 that said no. And so when you look at the statistics in the state of Texas, if something drastic or some intervention does not happen, we know that a majority of them will not get to attend college. And so something happens throughout those 4 years that changes their minds. And typically it's the finance of being able to afford college and some other factors. So one cool thing about the TJC Promise program that's unique is that we start working with students their ninth grade year of high school instead of waiting for them to graduate. The benefit of that is that instead of students worrying about, can I pay for college, should I pay for college, is it worth it, instead they're thinking about how to prepare academically and mentally for college and spending those 4 years in high school better preparing themselves instead of worrying about the cost. Another benefit of the TJC Promise program is that TJC has hired a dedicated team that we call success coaches. They start working with high school seniors. There's the beginning of their senior year. They come out to the high school, and each Promise senior gets a dedicated success coach. That coach works one-on-one with each student to make sure that that student and their families are prepared for college and helps those students make that transition. The nice thing about those coaches is they're highly trained in all things college, whether it be financial aid, student services, admissions, scholarships, testing. They're also nationwide certification of level 1 and level 2 success coach training as well. So they're very, very knowledgeable on all things college. So when they work with students one-on-one, they're really able to help find their needs and navigate those needs through their knowledge, through whether it be at the institution or in the community as well. So that's one exciting component of the program. And so a lot of times people say, well, does this model work? And I'm happy to get to tell you guys in short that it does work. We signed up our first class 5 years ago as ninth graders. They just finished up their first year at TJC. And TJC Promise students, after this first year, compared to their first time in college counterparts, outperform all other students in regards to GPA, hours completed, and retention. And so it is a model that works, and I'm very proud of that. And I do have to take a quick second to thank Cody Mize. Cody was one of the first individuals out of a handful of individuals to help design this Promise program and the way it is, and really can credit you a lot for getting it off the ground. So thank you, Cody. On behalf of the TJC Promise team, we're excited to get to work with your high school, your administrators, and your students. And so we look forward to that. And so I get to introduce one other special person that we brought with us. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Juan Mejia, president of TJC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. President, Superintendent Mize, members of the board. Thank you for your wonderful service on behalf of this beautiful community. I have the distinct honor of serving as president of what we know to be a world-class premier and award-winning institution of higher learning, and that's Tyler Junior College. Established since 1926, almost getting ready to celebrate a centennial, and all of it committed to serving the students and communities of East Texas. We're able to do this because of a wonderful leadership team. What makes an organization great? You know it because you have it. You need a visionary board of trustees. You need a very capable administrative team, a commitment to excellence by the faculty and staff, and then students who we know to be heroic, who are able to navigate in some of the most challenging times and still be successful. So with your permission, I'd like to introduce the delegation from Tyler Junior College, who's here this evening to joining us. First, the past president of the Board of Trustees and current second vice president, David Hudson. Mr. Hudson, while you're standing, I want to know if you can show that beautiful shirt that you're wearing.
I recognize my shirt. I've never seen one of these before.
But it's a Mineola shirt. And beautiful connections to your beautiful city. The president of the Tyler Junior College Foundation, Billy Hibbs, who also has incredible connections to your beautiful city as well. Then the team from the college, Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Mitch Andrews. And then the provost for the, and history is made as the first female provost in almost 100 years, Dr. Dina Shepard. So tonight is indeed a celebration, and we celebrate it because of you, each and every one of you, and a thriving, beautiful community. The good book says this is the day that the Lord hath made, and I will rejoice, and we have a lot of reasons to rejoice. And at the top of the list is the ability to be here with you, to partner for the betterment of our students and our communities. And then I'll close very quickly by saying that on behalf of the 13,000 students who are served by Tyler Junior College, a world-class organization in the number of years of service, Winston Churchill said, "History is going to be kind to me, for I am going to be writing it." So history has and will continue to be kind to Tyler Junior College and to Mineola, because we're going to be writing it together. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be your partners in this wonderful initiative.
On behalf of the board, I'm going to start by saying thank you. Thank you for recognizing in your kind words what we know. What a great night to be a Mineola Yellow Jacket. What a great night to be a school board member. We appreciate all that you've done for us, and we're looking forward to this. We've heard about it. I work with a district that's already doing it, and we're ready for Mineola to be recognized along with the others. You can tell by the crowd here tonight, the students. We have some very capable students, very interested students, and it's an honor for us to have you here and for us to be able to do this for them. So again, thank you, and we're looking forward to it. Do I have a motion to approve the MOU with TJC for the Mineola TJC Promise Scholarship?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McGowan, seconded by Mrs. Kiambao. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion approved. Thank you.
Real quick, for those that are maybe wondering kind of what's the next step. So if you're a current 8th grader and you're getting ready for your freshman year, be looking for more information for the details behind the scholarship program. There will be a signing ceremony that's in the fall for all of our 8th grade students, for their families to come out and be a part of that. And so it'll be a really special night that we create for our kids and their families. And really, the thing that excites me the most is the opportunity to help change the culture that our kids are going to show up. We're going to show up to school. We're going to act right. We're going to be polite. We're going to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. We're going to do well academically, and we're going to learn how to care for other people and give back to others in the community. And if you can do those things, then you can earn the way to have a scholarship to improve your education, to get a trade certification, and to make your life better if you can earn it. And that's what this scholarship does. And that's the MOU that we have the opportunity to sign tonight. So, Dr. Mejia, please.
Thank you, Superintendent. Appreciate you. Will let you sign first? Sure. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. You bet.
Thank you, Superintendent. Can you sign this one if you want? I would like you to. Sign this one. Finalize it. I would like to invite the delegation from TJC to please join me for. Thank you very much, Doctor. Appreciate it very much. Thanks. What an honor it is for us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
See ya. Take care of yourself.
It'll be hard to follow. Item I on the agenda is the superintendent update.
It has been an interesting school year, but it's been a really good one as we enter into this final week of the school year. We can't thank our Board of Trustees enough, the administrators, teachers, paraprofessionals, transportation, food service, nurses, custodians, maintenance employees, our campus police department, all of our parents, community members. It has been an unbelievable year, and it's because of you that this has been able to happen. So just wanted to say thank you one more time. This Friday, we finish up the school year with our graduation ceremony. That will be Friday, May the 21st at 8 p.m. Our leadership team will meet on Wednesday to continue to discuss graduation. We may even call Mr. Mark Skirdo to get an updated weather forecast for Friday. And then we will make a definite decision on Friday at some point in time so people can make appropriate decisions in where we're going to go. We'd love to have it outside. But if we get pushed to the gym, we will make the very best of it and make sure we get that air conditioner dropped down really low for that evening. So it's going to be a great ceremony regardless, outdoors or indoors. Summer hours will start next week in the district as we move to a Monday through Thursday schedule for office hours. And then our summer school session will start on Tuesday, June the 1st for each of our campuses as we continue to work with students that need recovery from the COVID slide, and also for our students who are seeking credits and making up credits during those summer months. So looking forward to getting that process started, and a busy summer awaits us. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Recognitions. Item J on the agenda is recognitions and celebrations.
Primary School Student of the Month.
Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to recognize our Mineola Primary School Students of the Month. We have Miss Lily Holland and Mr. Kel Jones here. Lily is a pre-K student in Mrs. Bruce's and Mrs. Wilson's class, and her teachers have shared that she is a joy to have in class. She is kind and always willing to help others, very caring heart, very diligent with her work, and enthusiastic about learning. And I can tell you just from having this year with her, she is always smiling, someone you can always count on to lead and do the right thing, and leads by example for others. And then Mr. Kel Jones here. Oh, and her parents right over here, Robert and Kalanolly. And Mr. Kel Jones is the son of Jason and Kristen Jones, right over there. He is a 3-year-old in Mrs. Marquez and Miss Clark's 3-year-old Head Start class, and they share that he is always very sweet, which I can attest to that, as well as smart, friendly, and always willing to help when asked. He shows integrity and leadership around the... Got it, buddy? Oh, you can open it. There you go. Smile, smile.
So cute. So cute.
Kel. Good job. You ready, Kel? Come on, sweet boys.
There. Good evening. I am so happy to bring to you our 3rd grade students of the month. We have Miss Audrey Freeman and Mr. Jackson Lindley. They are both in Miss Nance and Miss Smith's class. And Miss Smith wrote about Audrey. She said she is one of the kindest students in the 3rd grade. She sets a great example for all students to follow. She is helpful in the classroom and does things for others even when no one is watching. She always strives to do her best and does it with a smile on her face. So that is about Miss Audrey. And then Miss Nance says about Jackson that he is a go-getter and has a great work ethic. He perseveres when things are tough and is determined to always do his best in the classroom and especially at sports. She says in the classroom he is a leader and he is eager to help others. So please help me in congratulating these 2 awesome 3rd graders. Okay, I have many, so if they want to come wherever they're at, if y'all want to come to the front, I know, you can do it, I know. Thank you so much. And I have one fine young man to represent, and he's on his way. So, when we were doing our, thinking about our nominees for who we wanted to honor, as a middle school, we wanted to honor our top 10. This is a cumulative score of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And so these guys have worked so hard. They're great leaders in our schools, so we had to just go ahead and honor them. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, I'll start with number 10, and then I'll move my way up to number 1. We had a great award ceremony, so it was fun when we did it this way. So the first one that I'm going to introduce is Olivia Hughes. She had a 97.36 GPA for her 3 years, so that was awesome. We had Camila Delgadillo. Is she here? She's not here. Okay, we'll move on. And Riley Van Cleve was next, and she had 97.73. And then we had number 6 was Maddie McWilliams. Did I think? Yes, she is. There she is, and she's number 7, did I say wrong? I'm sorry, number 7 at 98.23. And then we had Sarah Smith at 98.4. And then Amadea D'Angelo was number 5 at 98.77. And Caleb Redding was number 4 at 99.08. And Gracie Lindley was number 3 at 99.57.
And Maisie Seaton was number 2 at 99.58. They're just like tenths and hundreds. It's crazy. And then Mila Amison was our number 1 at 99.88. So it's always so much fun for us to see where this takes us in our top 10 for high school, because it's usually pretty close. So congratulations to them. Yes.
All right, our high school students of the month couldn't be here. They're busy, like they always are, playing basketball. Got one on a team and one out there working. But you get to look at their pictures right up there while I tell you about them. Let me tell you something. It is nice when you walk through a high school building and you see smiles. The masks are off. The kids are now loving up, even on old folks like me. And it's a hallmark of who they are. When we picked Chevy, we talked to the teachers, and they said the first thing that came out of their mouth was manners and politeness. He's always willing to lend a hand. One teacher said every single day, he opens the door for me to go through. You just don't see that anymore. Chevy participates in our construction program, loves building things for all the animals down at the farm. Like most teenagers, watches TV in his free time and works on his truck. Macy Fisher is one of our homegrown folks here. Brother is a salutatorian. She's a freshman, and she's after what he has. Just an awesome student, participates in FFA, competes in the junior skills team, has won several awards at district and area competitions. She competes in poultry judging. As a freshman, she's a part of both the varsity basketball and volleyball teams, and she's involved outside of school. She's playing tonight, but on the weekends, she works with the children's choir and teen kids at First Baptist Church, where she's a member. She enjoys spending time with her family and playing any kind of sport, even on a night when she should be here, in her free time. Chevy Hogue and Macy Fisher. I will, guarantee you. Thank you. I think I'm next again, right? Teacher of the Month. Now, he had better be here. This is my third kid to show you tonight. He's also my Teacher of the Year. A little bit about DJ. If you've ever gone into a room and you look and there's 2 or 3 people that are talking over here, 2 or 3 that are talking here, and in this corner there are 7 or 8 folks. And in the center of that group right there, there is somebody that is engaging everybody in that group. There's laughter coming out of there, stories piling out of there. And as the evening moves on, you'll look on the other side of the room. There's 7 or 8 more over there. And who is in the middle of it again? It's Mr. DJ Warnicke over here. He is the brightest light in the rooms that he walks in. Just to tell you a little bit about him and about what the kids say about him. The kids love this man because he makes them feel like they belong. Teachers love him because he's personable and he's friendly. They appreciate watching the energy that he puts in his program and the value he puts on family on our campus. Parents love him because they quickly recognized his devotion to the FFA and Ag program as a whole, and that each student, their children, are equally important no matter their status. For those that he works for, he is consistent in what he brings day in and day out. It matters to me. What you see is what you get. Full of energy, humble, courteous, hardworking, dedicated to the school and the students. He's great with parents and colleagues, community members, and he treats children like they're his. He's a true ambassador for our school district, for our campus, for our ag department. His passion is unmatched, and with his students, it's contagious. We're blessed to have DJ and his family call Mineola home, DJ Wernicke.
Good evening. I am so happy to once again be up here to present our support staff of the month, Miss Maricela Campuzano. Ms. Campuzano does so many things at our school. If I listed them, we would be here for a really long time, and I know y'all are already getting tired. But she is above and beyond what I would expect from anybody that's on my campus. She has a passion for our students, and not just our students, but also our teachers. Anybody at any time can ask Ms. Campuzano to do something, and she immediately is, yes, ma'am, how can I help? She's there to help. She has bridged a gap that many of our staff members have with some of our Spanish-speaking parents. Ms. Campuzano is always there to facilitate that. She has built relationships that we wouldn't be able to build. What she is meant to do at our school is to help Miss Naylor with our ESL students, and she does that beautifully. She has built relationships with kids. She's a natural, and I don't know what we would do on our campus without her, so I am so, so happy to present her with this tonight. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you all. I want to thank Mr. Mize and this board for giving us time and opportunity here to recognize these kids. And been an unbelievable year, and to finish the way we have this year has been really special. The first group we're going to recognize tonight is our state qualifying girls golf team. And I think we got one here now. We got one important one, but we got one. Valerie Moreland making her way up. We, like it is typical in the spring, we got a lot of kids doing a lot of things, and I think tonight is no different. We had a lot of girls I know would like to be here that were unable to be here tonight. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce them as if they were here. Members of the team this year were Ava Johnson, Sonny Ruffin, Savannah Lopez, Allison Hooten, and Valerie Moreland. And these young ladies finished first in district for the second year in a row. This year they finished third at regionals, had a chance to qualify for state, went down there and got 8th overall out of 12 teams, got 8th. The second day, watching them compete for each other was really impressive in seeing how many strokes that each one of them cut off, and actually ended up shooting their best score of the year, and as a team finished under 400. And the best news is they're all coming back next year. So awful proud of these girls. Want to recognize our girls golf team. Congratulations. And our head girls coach, Ryan Stebbin. Wherever. Y'all come up here and get Give 1 minute. No, did you?
No.
Did you want to say something?
I
don't want to cut you off. Well, go ahead, Coach.
One little quick.
Let me cut you off.
I will. Thanks, sir. I just want to say that despite me being their coach, all I was trying to do was just hold on as tight as I could and just enjoy the ride. Because I'm not an avid golfer. I'm more of their mental coach, is what I like to call myself. The bus driver, and I hold that with pride. I enjoyed it so much with all of them. This one here, just talking about dedication and showing up. She was actually a medalist throughout the year, and then all of a sudden we had a girl that couldn't make it to the second day of district, and I told to go to regionals. I was like, I'm throwing her in there on that team because she's been there every single day. So, just a testament to her dedication and loyalty to the team. And thank you for that, Val.
You're welcome.
Appreciate all the parents. I wanted to say real quick just to the parents, it was unbelievable support from the Booster Club, the school, the community as always, and the parents. Really appreciate that. Thank you all.
Sometimes balancing that mental part's a tougher job than he leads on. Second person we want to recognize tonight is our state silver medalist, Miss Abby Kratzmeyer. If I get Abby and her coach Bill Self to come up here. Probably not a lot of things that I could say about Abby that you don't already know or haven't already heard. In a lot of ways, this child right here has put this town and this community on the map. And I can't tell you how many places I've been in the last 4 years where you run into random people and they say, well, you're the ones with the really good pole vaulter, aren't you? I said, yes, we are. But just have an opportunity to be here and watch her compete at that level and the amount of effort, determination, the hard work that goes into it, because it's not just a show up in the spring during track season and go. That's a year-long process and a lot of time, dedication, and money to get to that level. But, I know Coach Self wants to say a couple words, but I would say this. Abby, in my opinion, is going to leave here as the most decorated and most accomplished athlete in this school's history. She's had 2 gold medals and a silver medal at the state meet. And there's not a doubt in my mind she'd had another medal, if we were able to do things last year, too. So really proud of her, and I'm going to let Coach Self say a couple of words, too.
Well, there's not a whole lot left. Coach Blackwell takes it all as usual. She's a high-character young lady and an elite athlete, and everybody knows about the pole vaulting, but they forget that she's also a valuable member of regional qualifying sprint relay and 4x2 relay a couple years. She's also 3-year qualifier in the 100-meter dash at regionals, and this year placed 3rd and broke the school record at the same time in the 100-meter dash. Yes, pole vaulting, she's a 3-time district champ, 3-time area champ, 3-time regional champ, 2-time state champ, and a state runner-up. And as far as track athletes go at Mineola, girl, you're it. And she's one of the most graceful performers you'll ever watch do anything. The girls talk about all the time how graceful she is, even when she runs. So I'm going to miss you and miss getting to see you perform. Proud of you.
And last but not least, if we could have our state champion 4x4 boys come up. Normally they're a lot faster than that, or at least I don't know. They may have left it all out there on the track. As they're coming up, I want to introduce them. I want to introduce them in the order of the legs that they ran. I know we're -1 tonight. Y'all come up here in front. Come on. All the way up here. First leg, Mr. Brady Schrum. Hold your hand up, Brady, so they know who you are. First leg. Second leg, Jackson Holland. Okay, third leg is at a basketball game tonight. TJ Moreland was the third leg. And the fourth leg, Morgan Wagner. Come on out here, Morgan. I've had a lot of people ask me who Morgan Wagner is. Take your hat off, Morgan. Show them who you are. This was the fourth leg. The guy that passed the guy and did all that. That's Morgan Wagner right there. And then Jamarcus Kennedy was our alternate this year. And I want to bring him up and recognize him, too, because even though he wasn't one of the 4 guys running, he's one of the guys that practice every day going through the workouts and all of that stuff. I'm going to say just a couple of things, and I'm going to turn it over to Coach Regal. Number one, this particular race and this thing that we do here, in my mind, in terms of our program, one of the hardest things that we do. Morgan, step this way a little bit. One of the hardest things that we do. One of the hardest things we could ask a kid to do as far as that particular event, because you're asking them to run as hard as they can for an entire lap. And I promise you, if there's any quit in you, it's going to come out at some point in that race. And so what we're asking these kids to do, they take a lot of pride in year out and wanting to be a part of that My Relay team and wanting to be a part of that group. And ultimately, I think it builds character. I don't know if you have any of the other pictures. Do you have any other pictures? There was a couple of pictures in the newspaper, and I want to point this out. There's two of them in there. If you haven't seen the paper, one of them was Morgan bringing it home at the very end. And to me, these pictures say a lot about what these kids do every day and what it means to them. But the picture of Morgan bringing it home is the effort, attitude, and toughness we're bringing. You can see it on his face in that picture, but at the meet, you can see it in every one of their faces when we're going through that thing. And the second one I thought meant the most to me out of everything, and it's a picture of them guys hugging each other at the end. And to me, it's about that process and what does it really mean. I asked the guys from 2015 if they would come and share some words with these guys, some thoughts about their time here when they won it, what it meant to them, and what they thought the process was like. And these are 24-year-old kids, and I really don't know what they're going to say. But one of those kids, Preston Williams, comes and he says, he's telling these guys, he said, you know, the reason we were good is because we wanted to win it for each other so bad. It wasn't for that we wanted to look good ourselves, but I didn't want to let my teammates down. And I thought that resonated, and I thought you could see that in that picture, those guys hugging after that event. And it made me think, you know, that's what we want to teach in our program. At some point, they're going to leave here, and they're going to be husbands, and they're going to be fathers. And at some point, it better mean more than about you. It's got to be about that family and about those other people that look to you. And I think all of that, to me, was embodied in that one picture. Anyway, awful proud of these guys. I'm going to let Coach Ray, if I saved you anything at all, Coach. I know I got
think you
to
stole
ramble
my
a little
entire
bit.
speech. I understand, Coach Self. Just say real quick, these guys had 9 races this year, and they won 9 gold medals. Up to the point in the regional prelims, we trailed for about 15 meters until Morgan just blew past the Tatum kid and never looked back. In the state meet, we trailed for about 390, close to 400 meters going into the anchor leg. But I had zero doubt once Morgan got the stick that he was going to give everything he had to win it. And if you get to see the race, he ran a 48.8 on the anchor leg, which is pretty special. But with that, to get it to that point, you had Jackson Hall, who ran a 49.5 second leg. That was really remarkable to get us into the lead. Something we preached to him, we had to have the lead coming into the third leg. And then T.J. Moreland ran his best leg as well. And then Brady Schrun, we always say his job is to get us a chance to win the race. And he did that all year and did it 9 times and did it really well. Track's not an easy sport, and running the quarter is probably one of the toughest things you can do at the pace that these boys did it. Really proud of them. Like I told them, not many people in here, not many people in life can say they won a gold medal in anything, more or less at the state track meet. So I'm really proud of these guys.
Oh, Brady, wake up, Brady.
We won't talk about their GPAs either. We're talking about GPAs. Or not talking, so we won't discuss that up here right now. That's a sensitive subject with me.
Thank you.
Well, I am going to take a minute to talk about GPA, if you don't mind. Y'all do know this is senior week, right? And last week was test week. The Val and Sal were exempt. I haven't seen them since Wednesday of last week. I do know that they're working and engaged because I've gotten both speeches, and you're going to like that on Friday night, so make sure you're there. But these two right here, Jonah Fisher, Valerie Garcia, they epitomize what we want in a Mineola Yellow Jacket. Been competitive for 4 years, back and forth. Who's one, who's two? They're both one in my mind. Both of them 103 GPA or above, both. Both accepted and going to Texas A&M. Both been a part, the email whoop over here, I saw it. Both been a part of multiple groups and organizations on campus, very successful at that. Jonah Fisher is part of our FFA program, Junior Historians, National Honor Society, FCA, athletics, captain of the basketball team, 4-year letterman in that. He recently decided to go to Texas A&M, which his dad is mad about, but the rest of us are not, and major in business, which runs in his family. He's been an exceptional example, which is also important to the students at MHS. Valerie, well, you'll know Valerie if you see her. She's a member of a 4-time state championship band, whether it's marching or contest or ones that we get every year in every contest. She's a part of the percussion group. She's the lead part of that group, and you see her every time out there as she does just that, lead that group. She participates in NHS, various athletic groups, cheer team, student government organizations. She wants to major in engineering, which one day wants to build space rovers and work for NASA. Kind of crazy. Are we still going up there? Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll get a ride as their principal. Be a nice thing. But Jonah Fisher, Valerie Garcia, we love them. We want to invite all of you to come out Friday night, hopefully at the stadium, but not pack in the gym. We'll live stream it in the multi-purpose for the overflow crowd. Y'all be there. It's going to be a great show. Thank you.
Before we continue with I'd like to recognize some other special guests in the audience. We have County Judge Lucy Hebron. Thank you for being here tonight. Newly elected Mayor of Mineola, Jenny Langford. City Manager Mercy Rushing. Councilwoman Cassandra Sampson. And Constable Kelly Smith. Thank you. Takes a village, and we have it. Thank you. This is your time to make a break for it. We appreciate all the visitors that were here tonight, and now we get into the neat part of the meeting. But thank y'all so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Good night.
John, can we take 10 minutes?
Yeah, let's take 10. Thank you. That's an executive session. Yeah, he's on his way to Bastrop.
Okay.
Mr. Mize.
Mr. President, members of the board, we have one resignation, Ms. Monica Brandon, and would recommend that we accept this.
Is there a motion to accept Mrs. Brandon's recommendation? Mr. Dossett, seconded by Mr. McGowan. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you.
And Mr. President, members of the board, I'd also like to recommend the following employees: Ms. Annette Pecorino, District ESL Coordinator; Ms. Courtney Garrett, High School Ag Science Teacher; and Ms. Martha Martin, High School Spanish Teacher.
Ms. Campbell made the motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation, seconded by Mrs. Roddick. All those in favor? Thank you. Thank you. All right, information items. The financial report, Mr. Bjork. I know. Boo.
If Dave, if you go to 941, I wanted to show you. Okay, well then I'll just tell you. Line 941 was the amount of money we've expended so far on the Band Hall Fine Arts project. So far, we've shelled out $650,000. So far. That's not all, by a long shot. So I'll take y'all to the grand total. Ending the month of April, we ended at $10.3 million, which is down from last month about $601,000. But this time last year, we were at $10.3 million. So we're riding right along right now. Scholarships, I've already started to get, I probably have received about 10 applications from students so far for their scholarships. So those are getting going. Since y'all can't see anything, do you have any questions from what you looked at during the week? Next month, as we get down further into the year, we'll have spent more money because of the band project. That's going to take us back down. So unless y'all have any questions, that's all of that part.
Yeah, I think they're on track. I mean, we haven't heard any changes there. And so, but it'll be a mad dash at the end to
We haven't even washing. I know when I drove and dropped my kid off this morning at elementary, I mean, it was a puddle going across that ring road.
I think everything's held up pretty well. Wednesday, I have another meeting with Mr. McClure and Mr. Thompson. And so we'll probably be discussing that among other things. But everything's been pretty well.
Texas.
Okay, our enrollment. Unfortunately, our enrollment is down for this month. We are down like 11 students overall for the district, but compared to this time last year, we're down 37 students. Now, as you know, enrollment and attendance are two big factors in our funding. So once we get the report sent to PEAMS, this is probably the middle of June, I'll be able to see where we're going to stack up against last year and the amount of money we're getting from the state and whether we wind up in a payback position or not.
Look at the
Most of the decline was in high school. Ninth grade went down 4 kids. 10th grade went down 2. Junior class went down 1, and the seniors went down 6.
Wow. Just in a month?
From this time last month.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, last month.
Yes.
Wow.
And I do not know the particulars.
Can we ask?
Anybody know?
Anybody else?
Say overall, I think there's some.
Oh, okay.
We had some that actually left the district, went to other schools, and then we also had a few that elected to go to homeschool. Especially a lot of our seniors, that was the case.
Most of them probably weren't going to be able to walk, as I guess.
They were feeling some pressure, and with attendance and those
Yeah.
type of things.
Yeah.
So parents
Good.
Even though we were down in high school, primary school was up 7 students.
Yeah, they were waiting for you when you got there, weren't they?
I think attendance overall, big picture though, in the pandemic across the state, you've seen enrollment numbers decline significantly. And so there's, I don't know if that's going to come back on track next year or maybe a couple of years where those numbers really start picking up again, but it's been across the state, no doubt about it.
Okay. Thanks. Item 4 is the first reading of the Mineola ISD District of Innovation Plan for 2021 to 2026. Mr. Mize.
Mr. President, members of the board, you've had a copy of the District of Innovation Plan. This is just simply a first reading. Anything in there that you see, would like to add to, amend, adjust, questions, any of those things in there, the floor is wide open for any conversation. We will take this back to our leadership and to our site-based committee again to analyze any changes that you'd wish to see made in this document, and then we will have a final draft of this District of Innovation prepared for you by the June board meeting to take action on. Some of those big ticket items, and we've already talked about a lot of those things. The school start date is a pretty easy win under a District of Innovation plan. Currently, the state of Texas does not allow you to start school sooner than the 4th day or the 4th Monday in August without having a District of Innovation plan, and that's something we like to take advantage of. Some of the other things as far as locally certifying some people that are in certain career technical education areas where they don't necessarily have a 4-year degree, but they have industry experience that can bring that to the classroom and instruct our kids. Those are some advantages of the District of Innovation plan. And so certainly open to anything else that you see, would like to see amended, changed. We're definitely open to the idea.
The part about teacher evaluations and the number of evaluations that they have to have if they're experienced teachers, that doesn't include walkthroughs, and those are still taking place, the walkthroughs. Okay. What percentage of your teachers still have to be observed, would you say? Just rough ballpark.
Well, every one of them has to have a goal setting.
Yeah.
Every single one of them has to have a goal setting.
Okay.
So we have conversations with that, and then when you do your observation, it's probably either interim or every other year their term, so it's at least half, if not more, depending on their hours. I'm a little bit more this year, just because I was
Wanted to see what was going on.
and then everybody has a summative, so
Oh, yeah.
observed or not, is a conversation over the cumulative of their walkthrough.
Oh, okay. That's good. Thanks.
Another piece to that too, and I know Mr. Dawson mentioned something about TIA, our teacher incentive allotment. One of the things that they're going to be required to do is calibrate as they go into those teachers' classrooms who are participating in the teacher incentive allotment. And so you've got a couple of different observations throughout the year where they have to calibrate and be very close in the way that they supervise or the way that they feel that that teacher performed in the classroom as far as providing classroom instruction. And that's all a part of that piece that goes on for that teacher to be able to earn the additional money that's provided through the teacher incentive allotment. So that's another piece that's to it.
When do the teachers have to tell them that they're interested in that?
Well, we've got to get accepted first.
Oh, okay.
So that's still
Still in the
lingering
limbo?
out there.
Okay.
So if we get it, it'll be right there probably August, September, when teachers will have to make a decision to count me in on it. So.
Have you seen a lot of interest from teachers wanting to get into that?
Yeah, I think there's, that's probably a question campus principals could answer better if they've had those conversations, or as what are y'all seeing? TIA, people of interest, teachers that are interested.
It'd be interesting to see how many of them, after they find out how that's involved. Yeah. All right, thanks. Part-
They do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. If you'll get that out to us earlier, so that we have a chance before the
Yeah.
June board meeting.
And if y'all see anything in there, just give me a holler, call me, or stop by the office, and we can sit down, and if there's something you don't understand in there or have questions about, feel free to drop by, and be glad to look over it with you.
Okay, thanks. Item 5, discussion and consideration of the internet data tracking system for Mineola High School graduates.
Mr. President, members of the board, I know Mr. Dossett, and we've had several conversations around how can we track student data when they leave Mineola High School as a graduate. I think a lot of that conversation stems around when our kids are earning certifications. Really, when they graduate from here, what are they doing with those? Are they actually going into a job in which they're doing something with that certification, or is that kind of just another tool in their tool bag as they get ready to go for an associate's degree or go to the military? And so I appreciate Ms. Foster being here this evening to kind of review some of these certifications. We're in the final stretch to getting all that data complete, but they're putting some things in place so that we can track these kids a little better when they leave here. And we're going to try to figure out what a process looks like to follow up with those kids year after year to see where they're at, what they're doing, how they're doing. And so Ms. Foster can tell you a little bit about that collection process from the kids.
Hi, good evening. So Mrs. Warnicki and I, actually, we already track the seniors. The current seniors are all the kids in high school for their CCMR data, which is their college, career, military readiness that's required for accountability for this state. So up here on the screen, because I don't know if we got this into y'all's packet before, we have a very lengthy spreadsheet where we are tracking all of this data. So we have college ready that I can tell you from the fall, this group of seniors, there was 52 seniors out of the graduating class that we considered college ready. Then in December, January, when we updated the chart, it was still at 52. And then as of last Friday, there were 61 seniors considered college ready. Career ready, you can see in the fall, it was 61, then 62, and then 77. Military ready, which no longer is applicable for accountability, but we still track that because that's good information to know where these students are going. There were 4 that actually were committed and had attended MEPS. Winter it was 6, and then in spring 6. And that means we have some more that are in the process of, but haven't followed through completely. So when you start looking at how many seniors that is versus the total in the class, in the fall we were at 77% deemed college or career ready, 81% in winter, and now we're sitting at 91% as of May 14th. Now you may not be aware of what that means to be college ready. Mr. Sauer, if you'll go to the next slide for me. So according to the state, the criteria for being considered college ready is getting classification on the TSI, ACT, or SAT of the math and the reading at college readiness scores. We have 18 students out of the 116 seniors that qualify just in that realm. Dual credit, we have 60 out of the 116 students that have 3 hours in reading or 3 hours in math or 9 hours in other subjects. They can have more than that, but that's the criteria to be counted in that group. College prep course in reading and math, I will actually update that after the completion of the courses Friday. We have several kids that are taking those classes in reading and math. However, right now, the college prep class, we have an MOU with TJC, and those kids can only go to TJC for them to be considered college ready in math or reading. We're looking into the Texas Bridge program, which is accepted by more colleges, so it'll be more helpful for those kids to be considered TSI complete for multiple college. So based on this criteria, approximately 53% of our seniors are considered college ready. So career readiness indicator. So the criteria set up by the state is if a special ed student has an IEP and they're deemed workforce ready, then they have the indicator. We have 2 of the 116 students. We can also use industry-based certifications. We have 76 of our 116 students. 12 of those receive the Texas State Floral Certification. 55 students hold an OSHA 30 general certification. 11 students have a welding certification, and they have multiple ones of those. 12 of our students, our seniors, have the Adobe certifications. And then you have 2 students currently that have an NHCA certification for the health science. They actually have been taking their tests now, so that number will increase. We're very proud of the students that have just recently passed those. Our automotive certification, we have 11 seniors who have passed that. So approximately 31% of the students have earned certifications, and they're holding multiple certifications because either they're stacking them in their pathway, like the health science or the automotive, where they start out with the maintenance, light repair, and then when they get ready, they take another certification later on in their program. Or if they've switched their pathways, then they may hold multiple across the board. Other certifications that are not considered in accountability, though, that we offer are CPR, beef quality, artificial insemination through the ag. So based on this criteria, approximately 66 of our students are considered career or workforce ready. We've discussed tracking our graduates after they leave our walls. So starting with the class of 2021, we're going to start tracking them for 2 years after graduation. Students every year submit a exit survey to us, letting us know where they're going to go for post-secondary, whether it's college, workforce. So we're going to start collecting their personal emails and cell phones, putting that in a spreadsheet, and then we're going to set a time frame each year that we're going to contact them based off of that information so that we can evaluate their educational outcomes, how are the things that they have accomplished in high school, preparing them for their college career, whether it's in effectiveness or improvement in our areas, and the same thing for the workforce outcomes. What can we improve? What are our shortcomings that we can help them be ready for their career? Any questions?
Did you gather that information last year, or is this the first year that we've given about how many certifications you issued and that sort of thing?
I can tell you, I can go all the way back to the 2017.
What I'm interested in, what about the difference in the total number of those certifications? Like, for example, you had a welding, you had 11 certifications. Do you know what that was last year?
Last year we did not, well, COVID kind of, that derailed everything. Prior to that, we did not have the welding certifications.
Okay. Now, will there be, is this final for this year, or will there be others?
There'll be others because the health science are still working on their certifications, and then the teachers have until the 21st to get all the information to me so that because what they have to do is they give the certifications, and I have a lengthy spreadsheet that they have to put it in so that I can put it in to our data management system. So they have a deadline of the 21st. Because normally this spreadsheet I turn in to Mr. Mize and Mr. Sauer and Mr. Sorensen along probably the middle of June after we've collected the end of the year data.
On kids taking ACT and SAT, is that still a common practice?
Yes, yes, sir. So COVID has significantly reduced the amount of kids that are taking it, but all of your students going to the four-year colleges have to have it. Now, right now, I've heard that UT Austin is saying that they are not going to require it for this next graduating class. Got an email through from Southern Arkansas today that said they were temporarily going to waive it as well. So I feel like some of the other colleges are going to follow through with it. So when you have a student that knows that their college that they want to go to doesn't require it, then they may not have the priority to take it. But we talk with them and tell them that it still may be required for scholarship purposes, so there's good information and reasons for them to still continue to take it.
Do a lot of our kids, would you say a large number of our kids take those, or do they not?
Your college-bound students take it, so you're looking at probably 50% of our kids that take it.
Well, I just recently evaluated some scholarship applications, 13 of them, and only 2 kids had taken that, and my question to them was why, and they said, well, schools don't require that anymore.
Well, that was for this school year because of COVID. So now if they're going to a junior college, then it's not required because of admissions requirements. However, scholarships and other activities may
If
require
they're going to Stephen F. Austin or Tarleton or any of those, they require to take it.
Yes, except for last year and possibly this next graduating year.
Is there any way we can see data from, you're saying 2017 to present? Can you just get us something like on a spreadsheet just so we can trend some numbers?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first time we've ever seen any of this.
Because I actually...
I know COVID screwed everything up.
Yeah,
so.
I actually have a spreadsheet that just shows similar to this that has for the last several years. That just gives you the major breakdowns.
Yeah, if you can get that to Cody and he can send it out to us, that'd be great. Thank you.
There were 2 on the health occupations.
Yes.
And there probably will be more.
Yes.
But does that include the phlebotomy?
Yes, so those are probably 2 that chose to take it last year because a lot of the kids weren't able to sit and test last year, so that's kind of thrown. And so Miss Robinson and Nurse Goldsmith, those kids are actually tested last Friday and today, and I think there's some testing tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I think they're testing phlebotomy maybe in 2 weeks. So those numbers will increase.
Okay.
I guess I missed this, but I just got to ask, 52 of our seniors are considered college ready. Did I understand that?
53%.
53%.
Mm-hmm. So it would be 61 seniors.
Why? Is there a brief explanation as to why it's not any higher than that? Or?
Because it's based off the criteria that the state set. Because if you start looking at are the kids going to be successful, there's other kids that are not in that specific criteria that are going to be successful at college or even the workforce. This is just by this specific criteria that the state of Texas.
That's misleading. Maybe it's just me, but it seems to me like that's a misleading thing for the public to look at. I'm not saying that it's your fault or anything. I'm just saying it just looks to me like that's a bad perception. 53%.
This is just for the CCMR credit. We want each of our graduates to earn a CCMR credit. This is just one of the ways that you can earn a credit. So scoring a certain excellent on that TSI, ACT, SAT, taking a certain number of dual credit courses. There are a lot of kids that don't take dual credit courses that will go to the CTE route. And so they earn the CCMR point by doing industry-based certifications that we might do in college. So you're right, it is kind of misleading, but it's just the way it was set up by the state to earn different avenues to earn a CCMR credit.
Well, I mean, I know one kid personally that didn't take any dual credit in high school and has a college degree.
That student can still earn the CCMR credit, college, career, military.
Other ways, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying he didn't take any
Yeah.
dual credit.
Well, and this is just, like I said, what the state has determined as our criteria for determining CCMR. We all have examples of kids that we know that have chosen different pathways and that
Sure.
are successful,
Yeah.
that may fall in different categories up here.
And it may be something at homecoming to set up and, interview people as they come in for homecoming. What year did you graduate? What are you doing now? What classes did you take? Just give them a free Coca-Cola or a free hot dog or something, to come fill out the survey. What year did you graduate and what are you doing? I mean, if you're wanting to track further out than the last couple of years.
I'm watching the game.
This is
No,
pregame.
Before, this is tailgate.
I am interested, the program that you're starting as far as tracking them
Yes.
beyond graduation, that's something we're just starting,
Yes.
right? So this will be your first year. And so I do have a question just about your time frame. Do you think that 2 years is really long enough to evaluate? Because I guess as a board, I think what we're looking for is to understand, are our programs effective?
Correct.
You know, as far as real world applicability, I mean, is 2 years really a long enough time to evaluate that appropriately?
So we're open to discussing that. I just put 2 because you've got to think, Mrs. Warnicki and myself are tracking our 4 years in high school,
Right.
those kids, and then we're going to take on 2 more years. So, you know, essentially you're going to add, if you say we're going to track kids for 4 years after high school, you're going to add another 250 kids to our already.
To what you're doing?
To already.
I guess my thought would just be, could we track them just at 4 years?
Yeah.
So instead of having data from 2022, 23, 24,
Right.
and 25, can we just look at where they are in 2025?
That's a good suggestion.
Just because, I think it's highly likely that we'll see kids use those certifications within the first couple of years after high school. But I think we want to know where they're at, 4 years from now, 10 years from now. Are these programs, are we really spending our money well?
Right.
So that was just a thought I wanted to bring up on
Okay.
time frame that we're looking at, what these students are doing.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Any other questions? Thank you, and if you can just keep us updated and regular, once in a while, just send us something to Mr. Mize.
I will send the document that I already have
Yeah.
fixed that shows that by the year, and I'll get that to you as soon as I sit back down.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And then the testing that's over in a couple weeks. Thanks. All right, Mr. Sauer, the discussion of the elementary and secondary school emergency relief, ESSER 3.
So, let me explain. Let me share it.
Somebody, you're on the agenda. We want to hear from you.
You filled in the gaps.
Okay, no comment.
$3.6 million ESSER 3 funding. And so we're in the process right now. William and I have sat down with every director, campus principal, as they have come in. We've looked through the budget. We've identified areas that could be potential ESSER 3 funded initiatives. And so we will start working through that process. But there's a lot to it. You'll see a survey. Matter of fact, Mr. Sauer sent that out today. It's a survey for the entire community, all of our stakeholders that are in our school district, for people to fill out and to give ideas on way they should, that we should spend that money going forward. The state's doing the same thing. Matter of fact, I was on a conference call this morning, and one of the gentlemen, Corey Green, who does all of the grants for TEA, went through a very similar survey with us to kind of figure out how the state should allocate these funds, what were their biggest needs, challenges that districts were facing. And so we'll be working through that process. You have until September of 2024 to spend the money. So there was an ESSER 1 that we've already used. There's an ESSER 2 that's going to come later that's going to serve as a financial windfall in September of 2025. And then you have the ESSER 3 money. So it's kind of weird how they jumped to 3. The ESSER 3 money, which will fund now until September of 24. We can backdate those expenses. I believe that time period is March the 13th, 2020. Is that right, or is it 20?
I think it's 20.
Okay, so we can backdate a little bit of those expenses and collect some of that funding from there. We've already expended items. We can submit that for reimbursement to put in the budget. So that's where we're at. Big work in progress.
We do have to spend 20% on
Yes.
closing the gaps due to the COVID. So that has 20% of that is about $720,000 has to be spent on the academic programs. And we have to have a plan that we put close to our website how we're going to spend money.
Has to be spent by when?
Well, by 2024.
Oh, okay. I did.
And there's a pre-award period that Mr. Miles was talking about that goes back to Federal and back to March.
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks. Is there anybody on the public forum? Did anybody sign up? Hope not. I mean, no, I would, yeah, they got away from me. I would have had them speak up. They might have left. All right, action items. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on April 19th, and the special board meeting held on May 4th, and the vendor list for the 2021-2022 school year as presented. By Mr. McGowan, seconded by Mrs. Roddick. All those in favor? Thank you. New and unfinished action items. Mr. Bjork, discuss, consider, and approve amendment to the 2020-2021 general ledger.
One thing I did want to mention in the financial report was on the tax report. We are 95.10% collected right now. This time last year we were 94.5%. And remember, we based our budget this year on 95% collections. So we're there already. We also based on delinquent taxes and interest, no penalties. We based it at 180,000. We've already collected 209,000. So moving on to the general ledger. Remember when we ended the year last year, we dedicated $7 million to designated fund balance, leaving me like $1.3 million for undesignated to use for cash flow. With the band project that we've got going of almost $2 million, I need to undesignate some of that money so I have proper cash flow. So what I'm proposing to do is out of that $7 million, take $1.5 million and undesignate it so I have basically $2.8 million in undesignated funds to use for cash flow. The money's not going anywhere. I'm just reclassifying where it's going to be. Now, we're going to do the same process again this August like we do every year. Once I give you the final record of where I think we're going to land, then we'll designate money then and have some undesignated money. You know, the whole thing is the state has been talking for several years. They want to get their hands on schools' fund balances. So that's the purpose of designating it as much as we can, but we still have to have cash flow, and we don't want the cash flow to go into a deficit when we're going into a project like we're doing right now. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Does it make dollars?
You can do whatever the money you need to do. Your books are always perfect. That's what we
Because once August is going to get here, you know, supposedly we're going to be finished with this project. So we're not going to have $7 million that's designated. We'll have spent close to $2 million of that already.
Rose is a rose. Mm-hmm. It's just a different way.
But it's going to be put to good use.
Oh, yeah. We're excited.
So do we need to move?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell just made that motion, seconded by Mrs. Roddick. All those in favor? Thank you. Mr. Mize, to discuss, consider, and take action on agreement with Next Step Community Solutions for licensed professional counseling services.
Mr. President, we've worked with Next Step Community Solutions for the last couple of years, maybe longer than that in the district, and they provided licensed professional counselors to come to our school to work with our students and visit with them about a range of needs that they face during a given school year, and several of those situations that come from home. And speaking of ESSER 3 funds, one of the big expenditure items that we'll have the opportunity to spend funds on is to tend to the social and emotional well-being of our children. And so that will be a heavy focus in this grant process. And so with this agreement with Next Step Community Solutions, we wanted the opportunity to provide more days of service from these licensed professional counselors to come and visit with our students and assist our campuses and some of the things that they deal with day in and day out. And so through this agreement, we would be able to add one full school day at our high school campus for a licensed professional counselor, also add a full day at our middle school campus, and also a full day at our elementary campus. And I know Ms. Ray's maybe in that process of exploring what a full day with a licensed professional counselor at the primary campus would look like as for wellness for their campus. And so that's a part of this agreement. And any questions?
Do we know how many days, how many children they have helped this year, or
yeah,
how many hours they've spent with
yeah,
their
we can actually
students?
we can get a report on that. And guys, you might know that right off the top of your head and be able to share some of that. So.
We have a half day, so this year, so we share with elementary, and she's worked really hard with 4 students for sure. One of them actually did from Judy, so it's tough. We'll take those in. We got it all. We actually drink more about our neighborhood too. She stays running.
So So do you guys call them in when you have a need, or are they just here on a particular day and you have a student go to them? How does the student end up with the counselor?
We recommend, go ahead. We recommend, or hold up. We recommend, and then we have to get permission from their parents. And then it's her case. So she takes those particular students and sees them throughout the year. It's not just a come and go, you know,
They're on a schedule and.
it's a true service. She comes like us on Thursdays. Carrie works really closely with the referral process. So she sees the student that she thinks would really benefit from some licensed professional counseling. Go through that.
So you see her one day a week? Is that?
Half a day. We share a day, and then I think high school gets two. We have one.
So one day a week, they're there, and so is she ever there where there's no student that's seeking? And would she change to another campus if that were the case?
So she has a caseload, so every Wednesday when she comes to us, she has those set of kids that she's going to meet with, and she usually tries to stay with our bell schedule, so she meets with them for 45 minutes session. Now, some kids, she may meet every 2 weeks, so she's seeing more kids than just an aunt, because that's on my rotation. She also will meet, like, we have a student who has been referred to a mental health facility, then they can make contact with her, and instead of having that parent having to worry about finding a LPC or a psychologist or a psychiatrist to get them released from the hospital, they can actually use her to do that. And so that's provided a relief to our family members that are going through that difficult time, because they know they have somebody that they can contact. And she actually, several of high school kids, she has a way to contact them after hours, so if they're going through a difficult time or need her, then she can contact them after hours.
And it's a huge need for therapy right now. I mean, the pandemic really on middle school and high school kids took a toll. I've never seen the number of students in my office for mental health needs as I have this last year. It's been shocking.
Would it benefit y'all to try to make a full day for each campus?
So if we go 2, 2, and 1, that's 5 days?
The contract is only for 4 days a week.
Unless you're only one today. Right now we're doing 1, 1, and 1. Right, or
We're one right now, 2, 1, 1. 2, 1, full, or full. Three days a week.
We would actually like to see that for our DAP kids, we would like to see that be a mandatory requirement, is for them to visit with the LPC, because those kids usually have an underlying reason for the reasons that they end up out there.
I like that thought.
A lot of times you repeat too.
And it is tied into attendance. You bring how many kids when it comes to attendance where it has to do with mental health and their ability to come to school. We have kids that show up every Wednesday and they come in making sure, is she going to be here today? She's going to be here because they need that service.
What kind of coordination is there with the counselors? You said that your counselor works very closely with her, and I'm assuming that happens at the high school too.
She's your point of contact on our campus.
Okay.
Carrie is her point of
Okay.
contact in here, and she's usually the one that's referring.
Yeah.
Michelle does.
So we meet every Wednesday. She comes into our offices. How are those kids doing? She knows that they're going to come to us if something happens, on days that are not
Right.
her assigned day, and we fill her in. If she's had contact with them outside of hours, she's going to let us know what's going on, so that we're all working in a position to help her with the mental health students.
Can we not do 2?
I think one of the unique things about Next Step as well is when I was in the superintendency at Winona, a very tragic situation happened towards the end of the year, and I'm dealing with a couple of phone calls from law enforcement, and then one of the very next calls is from Brandon Davidson, who helps organize this program, and they've got licensed professional counselors that they're pulling out of other districts from around East Texas that come be with us in a very serious need the very next day. And so as we meet with kids in a band hall setting, start trying to work through some of this madness that had occurred, they're able to break kids off into groups and to take them different locations on our campus and meet their needs right where they're at. And that's a very special skill set. And they devoted their full resources that day when we had a big time of need. And so I'm very impressed by that.
Was this school year the first time we've had this? High school's had it before this year? Second year? There were, in looking at the contract, there were some red flags that I had, but you've already addressed some of those. I was concerned that they could send a family therapist, or they could send a social worker, or they could send an intern. I mean, that's what's written in the contract. And I just want to make sure I don't want any of those.
So far, I mean, we had the same person every single week, and it's her caseload is him hers, so we've not dealt with that situation.
Okay.
And she's talked to us about coming back next year and being our person, and she's actually from the area.
Sign her up now.
So my question is we're doing 2 at high school, 1 at middle school, and 1 full day at elementary. Do we need to go 2 at high school, 2 at middle school, and 1 at elementary? I mean,
I would personally like to renegotiate the contract, from what they're saying. I mean, I think, you've answered the questions. I mean, my concern was, what are they sending us? And then, there was also a part that they could do part of it on the internet or Zoom, and I'm assuming from what you're saying that they're here. They're not doing that. I mean, they may talk to them outside of hours, but for the most part, they're actually counseling on the campuses. Okay.
And that gives her an opportunity also to reach out to kids that communicate with her even over the summer months as well.
That's my understanding, was just a contact for the summer.
Okay. Well, because it said that they would be responsible for 6 hours a day and then 2 hours of record keeping and those kind of things. But if they're doing, it's all on campus.
well, can I ask a question? I mean, what do you need? I mean, do you need 3? You just need 2. Ms. Gould, how many do you need? I mean, at this point here, I say renegotiate the contract.
I want to renegotiate the contract and have 5 days a
It sounds
week.
like it's a great resource.
I think so too.
I mean, it's.
Thank you for speaking out, because, yeah, if we have that extra money to spend, I'd like to see if they can come 5 days a week.
We definitely need a day.
Okay.
If you need
And Ms.
2,
Wright, what about you?
We're in negotiation.
You need 1 day? We're out of days.
Can we get a second counselor to come for, that's adding an extra day?
Can we get somebody?
I know that.
Primary or?
I mean, they try to keep the same counselor,
Right.
especially in the district art class, so that she can see them as they.
Yeah, progress.
So, but, I mean, I'm sure that's possible.
Does this qualify for that money that is?
I mean, can you renegotiate the contract?
Can you
Oh,
get
yeah,
us more?
yeah, they'll add more days, sure.
Well, then table it and renegotiate.
And
They're in the
especially with
business of
everything
making money.
through the pandemic, in a year or two, they may not need as many days. But
Right.
I'm just what I'm seeing at my clinic, in my 15 or 30 minutes that I get, if they get 45 minutes, they need more people. They need more days. They need more people.
Thank you for speaking up, because
Yeah.
I came in tonight having concerns and like, I don't think we can do this. And now it's like, let's do more. So, Mr. Mize, I would recommend tabling this until the next board meeting, if you'll renegotiate with them for more time. We've got the money, so let's get the days we need, and if you'll let Mr. Mize know exactly what we can do. Is that okay? All right. I'll make the motion to table it to the June board meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McGowan. Any other concerns? All those in favor? Thanks. Helps when you're council. All right. I think is that the last thing? Discuss, consider, and approve acceptance of high bids received for trust properties R35737 and R35742. Mr. Bjork.
Usually it's our tax attorney that comes here and presents this, but this company has worked with us before. They actually work for the city. They're doing the same thing for the city and the relating entities like us in the county that our tax attorney does whenever he does it. But there's two pieces of property that they're asking for approval. They have a high bids. I think that they're probably, if you scroll up a little more, David. Go up a little more. Is that the only page you got? There's two pieces of property. One's valued at $5,790, the other at $6,760. We had two high bids from Rodney Karsh for $7,001 each. Of course, you know, when these properties are sold, the taxes are distributed among the three entities. And each of the other entities are going to have to approve this also.
Any questions? Motion to accept the bids as by Mrs. Kiambao, seconded by Mr. Ballard. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Yay. The purposes for which this meeting was called being completed, I declare the meeting adjourned.